Welcome back to the Crochet Chronicles with my friends over at yarnspirations.com. I'm your host Mikey. Today we're going to work on this particular pattern. It's a fabulous fall wreath, and this is the final tutorial been filmed for this, and this is the acorn. The acorn is in two pieces. It's the top and the bottom, so we're going to start with the bottom first, and it is on page number 2 as you see our journey as you come. So what you have here is that if you look at the wreath, these acorns are different colors, so you might want to think about that. That's up to you. You have your own creativity and color choices. So as it states here, we're going to work rounds 1 and 6 as the large grape over here, so I just put a line, and then round number 7 is slightly different, and then we're gonna fasten off. We then are going to move down here and do the bottom here, and then we're gonna put the two together to bring them together as an acorn. So I haven't done this before, so we're gonna try it as we go, and let's start and begin. It's a 4mm size G crochet hook. I'm gonna continue to play with my Caron 1 pound, but the yarn of suggestion today is Red Heart with Love. So let's begin our journey. So let's begin our journey of the acorn, and we're gonna be starting off with the magic ring. So if you've been watching in this series, we've been doing magic rings all along, but I will quickly review. Remember, we do have slower tutorials available just for techniques like this. So just lay it into your hand like so, and just use 2 fingers, and you're just gonna wrap around the 2 fingers and cross over the top. Okay, so just lay it into your hand and just kind of pinch it and use 2 fingers and go over top, and then use your ring finger to hold, and then it's just pinching underneath. Slide the hook underneath the first strand and just pull through. Okay, so just slide and pull through and just come off your hands, and then just chain 1 to lock it, and then we'll begin our journey of starting with round number 1 as like the large grape, but doing this, and you're also gonna need a stitch marker today. So let's begin round number 1. We're gonna put 5 single crochets right into the ring, so let's count those up together. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And before we're done, pull up a large loop and just take off your hook and grab that strand and pull it through. Pull it tight. This will fall out on you, so you want to turn it over to the back side, and you want to put that through a tapestry needle to lock it into position. You want to go back and forth a total of 3 times or it will fall out on you, and that's always a great technique to know for anything with crochet, with fastening off the loose ends. And then trim it to the project, and before you go any further, you're going to want to put in a stitch marker, and you want to put it through to the last stitch that you were just in. So slide in and just pull a spare piece of yarn through there so that you can count the rounds as you go, and then put that loop back onto the hook and pull it tight, and let's get ready officially then for round number 2. Okay, let's begin round number 2 next. In round number 2, if you're not sure where to go, it's the 5th stitch back, so just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's the very first one that you see, and you are going to apply 2 single crochets into each of the stitches all the way to that stitch marker. So the stitch marker is the last stitch of the round, and you want to finish that right. So you're applying 2 into each. Sorry, I'm slurring a little bit because my tongue is catching up on myself. It's not 5 o'clock here yet. Okay, so the stitch marker is your last one, so you want to apply your 2 into the last one, and once you're done the second one, which I am, is just use your hook and go into the last stitch and pull that stitch marker through, and so you'll know where that is in the future. That's round number 2. Let's move on to round number 3 next. In round number 3, we're going to expand a little bit. So in the next stitch you're going to apply 2 single crochets, so 1 and 2, and then the next one is just 1 by itself. So it's like we did with the large grape. So the next one has 2 into the same one, and then the next one has 1 by itself, and you're gonna do this all the way around. So the next one has 2 and then 1 and then 2 and then 1 and then 2, and then the last one is 1 by itself because that's just the right count, right? So once you get there, you're gonna move that stitch marker up. Let's move on to rounds number 4, 5, and 6. In rounds number 4, 5, and 6, it's just one single crochet in each. As you hit the stitch marker, just move it on up. And so please do rounds number 4, 5, and 6 and check it off on your list as you go. And meet me back here and I'll have round number 6 done. So it will form like a pill shape by the time you get to the end of round number 6. So move that stitch marker as you go so you can keep count, and then we'll finish off round number 7 after that. I'll see you back here in just a moment. So I've now finished off round number 6. We're gonna do round number 7 where we're gonna just kind of pin it in a little bit so that it keeps the shape. So what we're going to do is we're gonna do single crochet 2 together over the next 2. So just going into the next one, pull through, and the next one pull through, and then pull through 2. And then it states to do single crochet in the next 3 and then repeat from the asterisk, which is the 2 together. So the next 3 are 1 single crochet by itself, and then the next one is 2 together, and then the next 3 by itself. So 1, 2, and 3, and I'm keeping an eye on that stitch marker so I can keep count. So next one is 2 together, and then the very final last 3 are 1 single crochet by itself. Now we're going to finish this off, and this will be considered the bottom. And it states just to slip stitch into first single crochet. So in the first one just slip it and then you're done. Keep a large tail just for later, and you're gonna pull this up. Okay, so now you have the bottom of your acorn. You can pull out your stitch marker, and now we need to move on to the cap to finish this off. So let's do this cap next. As we begin to do the cap, they're saying to leave an extra long tail for when you're doing the magic ring. So just it's about 12 inches long, and you want to create the magic ring. So I've already shown you how to do the magic ring, so I'm just going to speed through, and so I'm leaving a larger tail than normal, and I'm just going to create my magic ring. And what we're gonna do at the end is that we're not going to weave it in like we had been before. So chain 1 to lock it, and let's officially begin round number 5, and you will need a stitch marker again. So let's begin round number 1. We're gonna apply 5 single crochets in a row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I want you to put your stitch marker in there so you can see where it is in the future. You can put this back on and just take it and just pull tight. So don't do anything with this tail, leave it on, and we'll deal with that later. There's obviously a reason for it, which I think is probably the stem of your acorn. So let's begin round number 2. In round number 2 we're gonna start from the 5th stitch back. If you can't see it, you can count it back. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's the very first one anyway, and you're going to apply 2 single crochets into each of the stitches all the way to the stitch marker. So the stitch marker is the last stitch. So you're just gonna apply 2 into each. And then the last one, so this is the stitch marker 1, so this is your last stitch, and move that stitch marker up to the very last one that you did. It was the second one of the single crochet that exists there. So that was round number 2. Let's move on to round number 3. In round number 3 we're going to expand again. So starting in the very next stitch you're just gonna put 2 single crochets in that one, and then the next one is 1 by itself, and then the next one has 2 into the same one, 1 and 2, and then 1 by itself. You're gonna do this all the way around to the stitch marker. If your counts are right, the very last stitch that's in the stitch marker will just be 1 by itself. And before you go any further with that, just move up your stitch marker so that you can see it again in the future. And that was officially round number 3. Let's move on to round number 4 next. Let's expand into round number 4. Starting in the very first one, we're gonna put 2 single crochets in the first one, and then the next 2 single crochets are standing by themselves. So one into each of the next 2. So 1 and 2 by itself, and now the next one has 2 into the same. So 1 and 2 is sharing, and then the next 2 are by itself. So 1 and 2 by itself. So 2 that share, and then the next 2 are by itself. 2 that share, and then 2 by itself. Okay, 2 that share, and finally the last 2 are by itself. That was round number 4. So move up the stitch marker, we just have round number 5 next. So we're now gonna make the top of the acorn just kind of bend a little bit. So we're gonna do single crochet in the next 2. So 1 and 2, and then over the next 2 they're gonna come together. So just going into the next one, pull through, next one, pull through. So pull those together. So the next one is 1 by itself, and the next one is 1 by itself. So 2 by itself in a row, and then the next 2 are together. Okay, so 1 by itself, 2 by itself, and then the next 2 are together. So 1 by itself, 2 by itself, and then 2 together. The next one's 1 by itself, 2, and then the last one's together. And that's it. And you're going to slip stitch then. It says leaving off a long tail, and you're gonna slip stitch into the first single crochet that's out from there, and then that'll conclude that one. So we want to be able to put the 2 pieces together, so leave a long enough tail so you can sew with, and just pull that through. Okay, and what we want to do is that we want to grab our other piece and we wanted to place it over. So we're gonna stuff this first, and then we're gonna sew them together. So let's put these together. The first thing that we need to do, this is the outside of the acorn, and I'm going to just grab the starting tail and I'm just gonna pull it through so that it's coming through on the outside at the top peak. Okay, so we're good for there. So you can either use, you would probably want to use the brown as your option for sewing this together. So put the brown into your tapestry needle, or whatever color you decide to do is the cap. Now I've already stuffed this piece here, so it's already ready to go, and I can leave the extra long tail and I can just leave it on the inside of this. It probably doesn't matter too much at this point. I wasn't sure if I was really gonna need it or not, but it'll provide some extra stuffing. Big deal, right? And if you got extra yarn strands at home instead of stuffing, you could probably just stuff those in there too. So you're gonna take the outside of this cap and you're going to place it over top. So I would just go in and let it fall where it will here, and then that'll give you a starting point for pulling it together. So it's like a little hat. So going back into the cap and then just move to the next stitch. And you're just gonna circle all the way around this. So back into the cap. And I would pull it relatively tight as well. So go all the way around with sewing this into position, and I'll see you back here in just a moment. So once I've come all the way back around, I am just going to just weave in the ends. So back and forth a total of 3 times on the inside of this, just going back and forth. So once, you might want to just make sure you're shaping it as well, and go through twice, and then 3rd time as a charm. But we still have to deal with the top piece. Now if you don't see enough of a indentation here, you can just take your brown and just kinda go around the outside of that and pull it around. So if you want to take an extra strand, for example, and just go around that, you can just kinda like pull it and it will kinda just shape it a bit. It's up to you, but don't use this strand, but use a separate one. So once you've got it woven in, we're gonna go and then we just have the top stem to deal with for this acorn. So using what's on the top of the acorn, just want to pull up a loop. So just go in top here and just pull a loop. And so now that it's been connected, you want to just chain 4. So 1, 2, 3 and 4, and we're gonna single crochet second chain from the hook going back down into the cap. So single back, and you should have enough of a tail on here. Now if this is your first time through it and you don't have enough tail, you know you gotta leave a long enough tail next time. And then you're just gonna slip stitch it to the top of the piece there, and then using your tapestry needle you want to just take that end and go back and forth a total of 3 times. So just go in the cap itself. And just randomly go back and forth a total of 3 times, and then that should lock in. And then you can safely cut that down, and then you can shape it, and then this would be the end of your acorn. So whether you're doing the grapes or the acorns or the leaves for this particular idea, it's a little bit bigger than I thought it would be, but it's still pretty awesome. You can have a good time with this particular concept. So this is a really neat idea. This is the acorn, and now you can attach it either with greening pins or hot glue to your wreath, and this would be how you would do it. So until next time, it's Mikey on behalf of the Crochet Crowd. So it's my friends over at yarnspirations.com. Have a great day, and we hope to see you again real soon. Bye bye.